Howdy, gang, and welcome to another Apples and Oranges. This is the final week of Argento August. Aren't y'all sad? Probably not, but um, we will be having Fulci Fall in October, and it'll be kind of the same type of thing. We'll be talking about all things Lucio Fulci, having some Lucio Fulci watch alongs. And so I'm looking forward to that. Now, September is going to kind of go back to our regularly scheduled programming, but we still got a lot of good stuff coming up. There's still going to be some Landis Confidential coming up that will return. Everybody Wants England will return in September. Going to be some awesome watch alongs. At least I think they're going to be some awesome watch alongs coming up for the month of September. So, there's probably not going to be anybody on here with me. I kind of let Chris off the hook because he told me that he might be in the chat tonight, but that as much as he's seen a lot of Argento's films, I think up until this point he has not seen any that he would say is Argento's worst film. However, I asked Steve before he left for work today, I said, what do you consider the worst Dario Argento film? And he said Giallo from 2009. And I said, even worse than Dracula 3D, because I've seen people give a Dracula 3D a lot of crap over time. He said, yeah, even worse than that. So I did seek out Giallo. Steve doesn't own it, I don't believe. He told me to try Tubi, and I was not able to find it on Tubi. You guys and gals might be lucky enough or unlucky enough, however you want to look at it, to find it on Tubi. I found a version on YouTube that had those horrendous subtitles that are automatically generated. But I got the gist of what was going on in the film. And at first I was like, is Steve wrong about this? Because he told me that Adrian Brody played two different characters in the film for no apparent reason. And yeah, there's really no reason to have Adrian Brody play the inspector and also play the killer in this. And the reason I was confused is because I did not realize, hey, Blissful, I did not realize until I was watching a review of it after I watched the film, that in the credits, if you've got a sharp eye, which I apparently did not tonight, if you've got a sharp eye, you will notice that it's sort of like an anagram where they've kind of mixed up the letters in Adrian Brody's name and created a fake name for the killer. But it was Adrian Brody. So Adrian Brody plays the police inspector, and he also plays the killer, who they refer to as Giallo, because get this, he's jaundiced. So jaundiced equals yellow skin. Giallo means yellow, and it's Italian for yellow. So I was like, okay, weak plot line. And it appears that at some points the killer is sucking on a pacifier. And I don't know if that's ever explained. I didn't see any explanation of why he was sucking on a pacifier in this movie. So I would really have to agree with Steve that this is the worst Argento film that I have seen. Um, I have not seen Dracula 3D, but I'm going to trust my husband on this. I was like, oh my gosh, this does not even feel like an Argento film. It's like, what happened with this thing? To me, it just seemed like a jumbled mess. Some of the kills, and it had been, some of the kills were pretty good, but it is said that some people refer to this as like of the torture porn variety, and I could see that. Because essentially what the killer is doing in this is torturing these girls, cutting off their lips, cutting off fingers. Um, and it seemed to really lack the style of Argento's other films. When I talk about Argento, usually I talk about things being morbidly beautiful, almost like some kind of twisted artwork that, although startling and visceral and all that, you simply cannot turn away because of that grotesquely beautiful level that, sorry guys and gals, that morbidly beautiful display that you're looking at when someone gets killed. And the earlier Argento films were clever. Even some of the later ones were clever. Although some of them were a little weaker than others, like The Card Player, for instance, which I talked about on the Terror Time Tea. But it was not like this. It was almost as if Argento didn't even direct this thing, or there was too much interference from a studio. Um, I think Adrian Brody actually sued the producers or took the producers to court for unpaid wages while on this film. And he was very excited about being on this film because, like a lot of us, he was a huge fan of Argento and he wanted to work with the master, right? But unfortunately, I think Adrian Brody, no matter if you love or hate Adrian Brody or he's just mad to you, you gotta, I gotta be on the side of Adrian Brody here. Um, this was a very, very sad uh, display of an Argento work. It did not seem like an Argento work. It almost seemed as if somebody was acting as Argento in the film, a ghost writer, a ghost director in this case. Um, and I don't know all the ins and outs of what was going on behind the scenes with this film, but I would be willing to bet that this was a troublesome production. Um, and it was not well received by critics or fans. I mean, it was pretty much universally panned. I have seen, two or three positive reviews here and there, but not the majority. The majority of fans of Argento, the majority of critics did not like this film at all. And I really, if you're seeking out the best of the best when it comes to Argento films, I think you can safely skip this one. Because, like I said, it doesn't feel like an Argento film. It feels like it was directed and constructed by a complete stranger. And those of us that have seen a lot of Argento films, we get a feel for what his films are, what this style is. This did not have Argento style to it. It was no Deep Red. It was no Tenebrae. It was no Phenomenon, no Suspiria. And, I feel like I can't just solely blame Argento for this, because I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Like I said, there could have been studio interference. There could have been a lot of things going on behind the scenes that maybe, as viewers of the film, we are not aware of. Um, so if there's anybody in here, Blissful, or anybody else that wants to jump in the chat and say what you feel like is the worst Argento film, or if you've not seen what you feel like is the worst Argento film, you could talk about some of his weaker films. I mean, I could put some of the weaker stuff out there. I think Inferno is a weaker film. I think The Card Player is a weaker film. I don't outright dislike them like I dislike Giallo now that I've seen it, but I do feel like they're weaker films. And this may sound blasphemous to a lot of people, and it has been a while since I refreshed myself on Mother of Tears, which was kind of like the closing chapter of the Three Mothers trilogy, right? Jello was garbage, X-Ray. Well, yeah, I mean, I like I said, I hate to say that about any Argento film, but it was just weak. The plot was thin as water. And I mean, I don't mind Adrian Brody as an actor, but seeing him as one character was was bad enough in this, because I didn't think they gave Adrian Brody enough to do in this. And this wasn't entirely Adrian Brody's fault, right? Or I feel like. Terry, you haven't seen Giallo? Honey, you ain't missing anything. I mean, this was the first time, today was my first time ever watching Giallo. When I asked Steve what he thought was the worst Argento film, he almost immediately said Giallo. And X-Ray, you say, so bad that big schnoz actor whose name I forgot sued. You talking about Adrian Brody? You said the only thing you remember was the. Gosh, guys. I am so sorry. The air quality has been so bad here in Louisville the last couple of days that I keep getting choked up and having headaches and stuff like that. But X-Ray, funnily enough, you bringing up the ending reminded me that I also thought it had a very weak ending. I was like, is that it? Is that all we get with this ending? And I don't want to give too much away, because there might be people that, just like Terry said, she hasn't seen Giallo. And even though I told her she's not missing anything, she still may be curious, and may have her own different opinions about it that vary from what some of the rest of us are saying. And Terry, if you do end up seeing it and you want to come back in the chat on one of these other streams, it doesn't necessarily have to be an Argento stream. You can feel free to share your thoughts about it at that time. Terry, you say, I've seen Mother of Tears, The Card Player, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, plus all the well-loved ones. X-Ray, you say, it's so bad, it goes by another name on Tubi to hide it from the public. Oh, okay. So that's why I couldn't find it on Tubi. I couldn't find it under Giallo. So what is the title it goes under on Tubi, X-Ray? If you remember. But I don't want to be on here too long just carrying on about this, but I did want to come on here. I know this was a rather short Apples and Oranges. It's called Color of Fear on Tubi. Ah, dang. I wish I had known that because Steve said, I bet you can find it on Tubi. I ended up watching like a Russian version of it. And I mean, I could follow it, but I would have rather seen it, in English or with proper subtitles on it or whatever. But things have been a little rough with me health wise lately. You guys and gals may have noticed that I've had to reschedule a few of the streams and videos and different things that I've done. And for that, I want to apologize because the programming has not been really consistent. And I would have rather it been that way, especially for Argento August, especially when I have a theme going on the whole month. And it probably threw a lot of people off because they were thinking, well, is Dana going to be on here? Is Dana not going to be on here? What's going on here? And all of that. So for that, I apologize. Hopefully things will get better in the month of September. Again, this is the final week of Argento August. But Friday Foolish, in case you guys and gals had not heard, is going to be a Beetlejuice special. Me and Candace are going to be talking all things Beetlejuice coming up on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. In fact, for those of you that have not seen the commercials and the teaser, I know Terry has, and I think Blissful has, but I'll share these with y'all really quickly before I get off of here for the night. So, just one moment, guys and gals. There we go. So here is the teaser trailer.
Play it once, play it twice, third time's a charm. Friday Foolish, Friday Foolish, Friday Foolish.
Okay, I gotta read this extra. He said, I heard Glenn Shaddix, aka Ortho, used to give Dana major vapors back in the day. No, afraid not, X-ray. I'm not making fun of Glenn Shaddix. I'm just saying he didn't give me the vapors. There have been guys that gave me the vapors, but not Glenn Shaddix. All right, so let me share the full length commercial with you guys. I'm still laughing about that. Hey, Steve, have you heard? The juice is loose on this week's Friday Foolish.
Wow, I didn't know that. What? What does that mean?
Hey Babs, I'm back.
Oh my, the juice is loose.
Friday Foolish, Friday Foolish, Friday Foolish.
Save that guy for later.
You're killing me here.
Ooh, you're disgusting.
Oh no, he is back.
I'm out of here.
Oh boy. Stay tuned to this week's Friday Foolish to see how this turns out. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says she loves it. Yes, this is going to be the ultra special, the Juices Loose edition of Friday Foolish this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to check it out. because we're going to be talking all things Beetlejuice. And I'm actually going to watch Beetlejuice again. I might watch it tonight. And we're doing all this in preparation, like I said, for the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel. And I hope everybody is excited about, or at least as excited as me and Candace about this sequel. It's been a lot of years, but Michael Keaton is back as Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder is back as Lydia. So I don't think we can go wrong with this. I could be wrong about that, but that's right, Steve. The juice is loose, and it's going to be loose on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. X-Ray, you said the special looks looser than Linnea Quigley. Oh, well, but Linnea Quigley's a sweet girl. Sweet lady. I like her. But I want to thank all y'all for joining me for this apples and oranges, talking about my thoughts on the worst Argento film. And thank you guys for sharing your thoughts on it. X-Ray, thank you for sharing your thoughts on Giallo. I think you pretty much had the same impression of it that me and Steve did, and that a lot of other people did. And I echo what Blissful says. Have a beautiful night, everyone. And on that note, I'm off like a dirty shirt. But before I get off of here for the night, I want to remind everybody, as I always do, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, folks. And it's getting ever closer to the weekend. Some of us may have a 3 or 4 day weekend coming up. So let's make the best of it, right? And I'll see everybody next time.